right. I'm happily married, Amanda. I cannot. It's a lovely invitation, but I just...
Oh, you're cheeky.
Every time she's in the show, she's just offered to fly me anywhere in Australia. You're flying your own plane now, aren't you?
I am, yes.
What made you take up flying planes?
Well, my man, Stephen, was a pilot for years and years in South Africa, and he just rang me, I don't know where I was, in Cairns or somewhere, and he said, how do you feel like, you know, learning to fly a plane? Well, I said, I'd love it.
And that's it there?
That's the plane. We've bought our own plane now,
Isn't
and
that
that's
wonderful?
it. Charlie, Mike, and
you must
she
have
is
made
gorgeous.
a fortune out of theatre, have you?
Oh, no, it's not mine. Stephen bought it.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Everything it's ours, you know, but it's
beautiful.
Stephen's money.
Would you take me for a ride one day?
Bert,
yes?
fly with me to the moon.
Yeah, right.
Anywhere.
Would Stephen have to come too?
Well, I think so, yes, because
Stephen and Paddy can have coffee somewhere. You know, little fly around.
I'm not fully fledged yet.
Neither am I. Apart from Amanda this morning on the show, Colette Mann is going to join us. Always great to see Colette, regular on Tuesdays, of course. Julie McDonald, swim star, has had a scare, but she is fine, I'm proud to report. Jeff Payne is here, always a very welcome guest on Good Morning Australia. Elizabeth Chong, one of our most popular regulars, is going to cook for us. And John Michael Hollywoodhausen with lots of stars, including Barbara Cartland. There they are, making arrangements, have a little fly themselves. Musically speaking, as ever, in the tender care of Dr. John Foreman. Worked nicely, Jono. Beautiful, just like the American TV show. Like that. John, yes. I hear that you had a flutter over the weekend.
Yes, I did. I don't normally, but I did on the weekend. I tell you, but if ever I have another bet on a horse, I'm going to make sure I bet on a horse whose jockey knows which end of the horse is which.
Well, there you go. And all the best to Shane Dye too. Actually, he was a very lucky boy on Saturday. They went on, I think, for about 200 metres, and he was on the he was trying to avoid, obviously, the horse's legs.
Terrifying!
But he's fine. And of course, he's one of the greatest jockeys in the world, in my opinion. So there you go.
Yes.
So thanks, John.
Okay, Bert.
Now, how are you folks? Everything under control there? What haven't I done? I haven't introduced officially my first guest for this morning. Top of the bill, Amanda Muggleton. Amanda, great to see you.
Oh, my darling, it's always wonderful to see you.
Well, as soon as you talk about Stephen, I realise there's just no chance for me. He's the man in your life, isn't he?
The man of the moment, yes.
How did you meet you and Stephen?
Oh, well, he saw me do Shirley Valentine and fell in love and wooed me, swept me off my feet, and we've been together for 8 years.
Did he come around backstage and introduce himself on the whole thing?
Yeah, he wrote me a letter, and
What did it say? Do you remember?
Yes, I can quote it verbatim.
How about it? No, what
well,
did
it was a letter. No, it was a letter to Shirley, and it was all written in like pidgin English because he signed it from Costas, who is the man that Shirley Valentine has an affair with in Greece. It was a very clever letter.
Isn't that interesting?
Yes.
You know, it brings back memories many, many years ago. I'm almost ashamed of the fact now, not that I did anything wrong, but when I was a late teenager, there was a girl on the show in Melbourne, and I thought she was just the most beautiful girl. And I wrote her a letter, and I was in radio at the time, so I mentioned where I was working, the whole thing, and left it there the second time I was seeing the show. And I must have mentioned in the letter, you know, if you'd like to have coffee after the show or whatever, I'll meet you around the stage door. And went round to the stage door. There's this great big bloke there, and he said, "Is your name Newton?" And I said, "Oh, yes, yes." He said, "You've got 5 minutes to get right out of here." And I said, "Oh, okay, fine," and left. And I never got to meet her, and the whole thing.
Was it her husband?
No, she just said, "Look, I've got this crank letter or something, you know," and he's coming around
And he
afterwards.
was like a bouncer or something?
No, he was just, I think he's a stagehand or something, but he was just standing there, and as soon as he said, "Is your name Newton?" I thought he was going to say, "Oh, yes, you know."
Come in.
Louise, or whatever her name was, it won't be too long. He said, "You've got 5 minutes to get you out of here." I said, "Oh, right," not running down the lane as fast as I could go.
I'm glad they didn't say that
And
to
it's
Stephen.
amazing, you know, how quickly I fell out of love with her. Amanda, HMS Pinafore, huge success for yourself and all the company. Where haven't you played?
Gallagher, it's a huge success for him and for everyone that's in it. He's just the most special man. He's got this wonderful balance between being a businessman and an artist. And he's
does
got
both
it
beautifully.
Fantastically well. He's a very, very special man.
So you're in Newcastle this week?
Yes, Newcastle, and then Toowoomba, and then the Gold Coast, Brisbane, Adelaide, Perth. We finish in Perth.
I'm told there's a chance you might take it to the Savoy Theatre in London.
Well, Simon would love to take it there because that's where Gilbert and Sullivan originated all their productions. And I think he's looking at Broadway too, which would be a great coup for Australia.
You've played the West End, haven't
Oh,
you?
yes.
But you haven't played Broadway, have you?
No. No, and I don't think Simon could take a fully Australian cast, but it's his concept that would go.
Yeah.
I'm sure, in fact, that he couldn't take an Australian cast.
If he wanted to take you, would you consider it?
Oh, I would.
Yeah. Is that still an ambition, to play Broadway?
No, not really. Not really. And it was never my ambition to play London, really. I mean, Australia is my home, and I mean, it sounds like I'm not ambitious enough to go there, but I'm very happy with my lot, you know, and I don't think, if you strive too hard for something and don't get it, it makes you feel resentful and all those awful feelings. If it happens, fantastic.
If it
I
doesn't?
wouldn't, and if it doesn't, I'm very happy here in Australia, and occasionally I do films in London and the West End, but I've got my feet firmly planted here.
You've just been on holidays, haven't you? You and Stephen?
I have had the most incredible journey into the outback. I've been to Longreach, and I was at the Muggleton Sheep Festival last year.
What were you doing there?
Well, this year they rang me and said they knew I was coming back, and they said, would you sing a song? And I must have been drunk because I said, of course I'll sing a song.
What do you sing to the sheep, do you? What
yes,
happened?
ba, 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 ba. No, and they said, look, we're doing this sort of an evening show, and they wanted it to be very sophisticated.
Is that from the night?
It is. That's me doing, they asked me to sing Hey Big Spender.
And there's the bloke there, and what's he looking
Keith,
at?
and they gave me Keith to play with, and I did play with Keith, and Keith did play with me on stage. It was just the most incredible thing. I think we'd all had a little bit to drink, because you have to. It's a bit of an excuse for a bit of a
Is that Keith
drink.
again?
No, that is Stuart Bowden, who is not normally like that, but they have a competition each year for the best ute,
right.
And they have two categories. The one ute, which is the best to pull the birds, and which is the ute that... There's a song about, I don't care what my ute's like, I love my ute.
Yeah.
And
where is this again? Where is it?
The Muggleton Sheep Show.
Oh,
it's very famous.
Okay, yeah,
just out of Longreach.
Oh, right.
And it's the best. It is the best time you can have. They are gorgeous, gorgeous people out there. And
what's that? Is that what I think
that
it
is Lightning Ridge.
That's your dressing room.
That's the dunny at Lightning Ridge. We can't wait to go back to Lightning Ridge and meet Leslie and Lynn, who took us down mines and showed us how to cut opals. Characters I have never met better in my life. They are so special, the people out there. We're going back for sure. We want to stay a week, 2 weeks, and film them and glean more information.
Of course, that's the thing. I mean, really, the real Australia, or certainly part of the real Australia, is in those people and those places, isn't it?
Who wants to go overseas anymore? Now we've got our plane, we can go wherever we want. And we went to Inaminka, and special
What sort of
people
plane
there.
is it, did you say?
It's a Cessna 182, single engine.
Yeah, and how many does it hold?
4.
4?
I think there's a photo somewhere of me actually flying the plane.
Is that
There it is, that's me.
And who are the people very nervous in the background?
Next to me, yeah, well, he would be very nervous. That's Nigel Snell. He's my, well, isn't my normal instructor.
Yeah.
Brian Weston is my instructor, a very brave man. But we took Nigel and Sandra with us, that's Stephen behind me, because he is a fully fledged not a coach, well, instructor. He's got night rating and all sorts of things. Because Stephen is a pilot, but he hasn't got an instrument
Can you
rating.
fly at night?
I can't, but Nigel can.
Right.
And he will. But can I tell you a funny story?
Sure.
I was doing a circuit once at Archerfield, and I hadn't pulled my door shut enough, and so we were just taking off, and I said, oh, my door is open. So Brian Weston contacted the tower and said, we're coming in for a full stop. We have a door open. Now, you must understand that the tower never makes jokes because, you know, it's a matter of life and death if they start messing about. But the bloke came on and he said, what is it, the instructor trying to get out?
You know something, I'm willing to sign something too. There is no way known you'll ever get me on a plane with you, because if you panic about a door slightly ajar, how would you do? All of a sudden you see a mountain. Oh!
This was very, very early days.
I realise
and
that.
I have to tell you, I went solo a week ago last Thursday.
Oh, that's terrific.
And
but nobody else had come with you?
No, all credit to Brian Weston, who trusted me and just thought I could do it, and I've been doing it ever since.
I know you well enough to realise anything that you want to do, you can do. Nothing is beyond you. Good luck for the rest of the tour. You've checked out of your hotel, haven't you?
I have.
I just want to thank you for a great night. You don't remember?
Oh, no.
Room 605, wasn't it?
No, 604.
Oh, 604. Corinne, you
Who
gave
were
me the
you
wrong
with?
room number. Please take a matter, Michael.
Thank you.
Good to see you.
And you, Dave.
As always. And look out for HMS Pinafore opening this week in Newcastle and
Newcastle, Toowoomba, Gold Coast, Brisbane, Adelaide, Perth. Don't miss it. It's fantastic.
And also, just look for the cast arriving too as they land at the local airport. After the break on GMA, Julie